That's Stray's tutoring? Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we'll be going over maple syrup disease. Now hold on guys, I know what you guys are thinking. What crazy disease did this guy make up? Little do you guys know, this is not a made up disease. It is really called maple syrup disease, or in shorthand it is called MSUD, and this stands for maple syrup urine disease. Literally, the main component to how we tell that someone has maple syrup disease is by their urine smelling like maple syrup. Yes, maple syrup, guys. The reason for this is because there is a deficiency in an enzyme that breaks down three essential amino acids called valine, isoleucine, and leucine. Because these can't get broken down, more specifically leucine, they begin to have this metabolite that then thus blocks other types of important biochemical reactions to happen within the body. So let's get off this slide and let's talk about it a bit more. So maple syrup disease, some symptoms and some other facts about it. Maple syrup disease, the main component again is a sweet urine odor, and it smells like maple syrup. And again, this is because of the buildup of these amino acids that cannot be broken down. There's a deficiency in a special enzyme, which we'll get to later. Other things that can happen is brain damage, developmental issues, and I would like to not reiterate, but mention here that this is usually found in newborns. Between 24 to 48 hours, a newborn can be detected with maple syrup disease, and within months, of course, death may happen. And this is with classic maple syrup disease. There's different forms of maple syrup disease, but to keep it simple with this video, we'll just be going over the overall effects, the conditions, and the metabolism of maple syrup disease. There's also delayed motor skills, there are feeding problems, and 1 in 86,000 births, or 1 in 180,000 births, see this disease, so it is extremely rare. I want to go back to the feeding problems though. There will be feeding problems because the foods that we eat do not just have carbohydrates, but they have amino acids as well, which we know are the building blocks of larger proteins. And with this, we know that in foods, the amino acids, some of the most natural occurring and essential, are valine, isoleucine, and leucine. So of course that person is probably put on a strict diet for certain types of amino acids because we do not want it to be built up. We cannot have it get broken down, right? Another thing to mention, it is an autosomal recessive disease. So a person that's homozygous for the allele will be affected for this, but it is extremely rare. So what is maple syrup disease? Let's talk more on the molecular side, and we're just going to skip this guy here. We'll get into that later. But what we have again are branch chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And we have an enzyme called BCKD complex. So what is BCKD? If we zoom down here, there's a deficiency of the enzyme. This enzyme that I kept talking about in the beginning of the video, it's called branch chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase. That is a wordful, guys. So again, that's where scientists go ahead, or medical doctors, wherever you want to name, say BCKD, short term for branch chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase. Whew. That's really a mouthful. But there is a mutation or deficiency in BCKD that's not allowing this leucine, isoleucine, and valine to be broken down into these metabolites. So earlier I was talking about the urine odor. Isoleucine metabolites are the cause of this odor. So these isoleucines are not able to break down, thus giving it that maple syrup urine odor. Okay. Next slide. What else happens? We know that when we have deficiencies or mutations in one enzyme, of course there's issues with others, because we know enzymes can act as kinases, meaning they can activate other enzymes. Or we know about the domino effect, where one thing goes wrong, other things go wrong. And that's usually what happens with many of these diseases, especially these rare ones. So the buildup of, I call it VIL, welcome to the VIL, valine, isoleucine, and leucine, when they build up, it inhibits the transport of large amino acids to the brain. Some of those amino acids that are very large are tryptophan and tyrosine, which are responsible in the production of dopamine and serotonin. So because these amino acids can't get broken down by that mutated BCKD. You see, guys, I almost slipped up. It's a long word. I almost was going to say it, but instead BCKD. It blocks the transport of tryptophan and tyrosine to the brain. And thus, this really causes many motor skills and developmental issues and many other issues that, that can happen because we're stopping the transport of these very large and important amino acids. Let's play a little memorization game here. How can we remember the main amino acids for maple syrup disease? Well, the saying goes, I love Vermont. I really don't love Vermont. It's just a saying. I've never been. I'd rather say I love Miami because that's where I'm from. But of course, we have to do shortcuts some way. So we have I for isoleucine, we have L for leucine, and then we have V for valine. Or you can always go with my favorite, the VIL, right? Welcome to the VIL. And these are a good way to remember that these are the amino acids associated with maple syrup disease. And then to our right, if we zoom into the bottom, these branches signify branch chain amino acids, where they're built up, they're not getting broken down, and that buildup is detrimental and can really cause many problems to a person that has, maple syrup disease. Now, in our last slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the metabolism. We know that, again, the amino acids are the VIL, valine, isoleucine, or leucine. Also, I love Vermont. And what happens to these amino acids is they can get broken down into something called BCAT. And to our right, and we're not going to waste our time pronouncing any of these because it'd be all day, but they get broken down into these branch chain amino acids. And what happens next is, this is where our guy BCKD is supposed to come in, but he's mutated. He's not working properly. So what happens is, we don't get this metabolite that we want when we're trying to convert valine, leucine, and isoleucine into these simpler metabolites. That does not happen. That does not happen because, again, there's a mutation in BCKD. And in this, not paragraph, but phrase, it says mutations in BCKDH subunit, somewhere within that enzyme, in one of the subunits. If you guys seen my videos about proteins, you guys will know what I'm talking about, where in an enzyme it may have, subunits 1, 2, 3, 4, and somewhere in a subunit there's a mutation or something that's not working. And that's very, very bad, because now what you have is accumulation, or a buildup of these branch chain amino acids. All right, so that is maple syrup disease. Of course, there's way more to it, but in simple terms, this is what it entails. You have these amino acids, 3 main ones that can't get broken down by BCKD, which is a branch chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase. And give me a sticker for not messing that up. You guys try to do it yourselves, okay? But it can't be broken down, therefore there's a buildup, and it causes many different, many other different problems within a person, Okay, so if you guys enjoyed this video, liked the explanation, please let me know if you guys have any questions. Down below I'll leave a summary and then a website as well to keep up with any type of news for this rare disease, because I would really love to see more rare diseases get attention, or funding, or maybe some other bright people who may know way more than me to try to save some people's lives. So go ahead and check that out down below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.